All right, welcome to the stream. This stream is, of course, brought to you with no commercial interruptions, thanks to the Carnegie Mellon Group, Thorpe Corp, and viewers just like you. All right, here we go. So, today we're going to watch another UFO conspiracy theory cryptid type show. But the way that I found this one is I saw a thumbnail pop up a while back that had Peter James. Remember Peter James, the Sally House psychic from Sightings? And I saw the thumbnail, and then I forgot to add it to my to watch queue, and I thought for sure it would come back up again, but it never did. So whenever I was searching for it, I couldn't find it, but I found Encounters, which we watched earlier in the week. But I finally found this by switching the decade that I was searching for. What's up, Ronald? I saw that, Cody Turbo. So this is a show. Well, I'll let the show explain it for itself, but it's going to be very sightings, encounters type situation. Let's just get into it.
It is an extremely unpleasant feeling. It feels like death.
Unexplained mysteries, paranormal America. Strange, inexplicable events are taking place in towns across the country.
The magic is back inside of me.
Outside New York City, a cop uses extrasensory powers to solve unsolvable crimes.
I do believe George is a psychic cop.
Are spirits of murdered inmates trapped in a...
Now, do you think we'll have to keep our eye on this one and see if this one is a Sightings repackage? We'll have to see.
Former San Francisco prison.
In a place like that where there have been so many violent deaths, it's quite possible.
And a renowned psychic braves the destructive energy that remains in the cell block.
They're moaning. The pain is so intense.
4 art students from Boston are terrorized by an
What's up, JC? What's up, South to West?
unknown entity.
I remember it as being a very bright, round sphere of light that had kind of a roiling quality to it.
And they claim they were subjected to heinous experiments.
They turned me over, and then they were doing some type of anal exam.
Workers at a Chicago nightclub are plagued with unsettling visions.
Next thing I see is a white tuxedo feature with reddish hair glowing beyond the bar.
Visions confirmed by psychics.
I get a sense that somebody's behind that bar, and it kind of feels like they are not alive.
And in Los Angeles, mysterious writing appears on photographs.
I have never seen an entity present itself in that fashion.
Could it be a spirit that inhabits the house?
Right over here near the TV set is where there's supposedly a dead body buried under the floor.
And we'll give you the complete wrap-up in our Unex report. Unexplained Mysteries, Paranormal America. Our country is a hotbed of paranormal activity. The darkness of the spirit world may be responsible for a disturbing phenomenon. Los Angeles, California. Polaroids taken at the house of John Huckert and John Metkowski revealed something shocking. Ghostwriting. When psychic Peter James first arrived at their house, he was skeptical that an entity was using Polaroid film to communicate.
In all of my years of delving into the paranormal world, I have never seen an entity present itself in that fashion.
I feel like some of these stories are familiar, but I feel like a lot of them are covered on countless shows, but then some of the stuff I don't remember.
But I will say that all things are possible, and perhaps this is something new
What's up, Jason?
that I have never encountered.
After visiting the house and seeing the pictures for himself.
Hold on, wait a minute.
After visiting the
Oh my gosh, what an interesting picture.
house and seeing the pictures
What an interesting picture.
for himself, James is convinced.
Whatever is on the Polaroids, it is their way of saying, pay attention, this is how we're communicating with you. My experience here today clearly is telling me to convey to you that your probing here should be ongoing.
Peter left the house with several clues to the source of the haunting.
He gets
One of
around.
the times Peter James was here, he suggested that we dig in the yard.
Why is his head so big in the picture, you mean? Yeah, that was kind of an odd picture. John Huckert.
Show you where. It was over here. He said that if we dug right here, we would find something significant.
What they unearthed was a long crypt-like object.
We don't know what it was for, but he was right. If we dug here, we'd get something.
Another one of Peter's predictions may explain the vortex he felt in the living room.
And I got that tingling sensation right now. And it's also very cold here. It's almost like one would stand on a foot massager and feel the energy coming in.
Remember that picture of the Bidens where it looked like they were giants and the Carters were like tiny people?
From your feet, through your feet, from the floor, and it's going through my entire body.
Peter James told us about a dead body that he claims is buried under the house. And in here is where the body supposedly is buried, right over here. Near the TV set is where there's supposedly a dead body buried under the floor. We've had a number of psychics come in and they've brought in
Donald Dank.
magnetometers and different kinds of instruments. And whenever you take it over that spot, it goes off the scale.
After the excitement of the investigation wore off, living with these ghosts became a normal part of life.
Vinny Slugga would be in heaven with all these books and physical media.
At first it was a little unsettling. I wasn't real comfortable because I didn't know what was going on. I would, some of the things that would happen, you get kind of nervous or get a little frightened. But as you got, I don't know, through the years, you kind of get used to it and it just becomes part of everyday routine,
And then the photograph stopped. The entity known as Wright remained quiet for almost 2 years, until one day, a friend came over.
I guess I was a little curious and I said, well, can you take a picture? And John says, well...
Noel Palomaria. He's a renewed ghost activity.
We've taken pictures before, and it hasn't been around, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of like 2 years. And I said, oh, well, let's just take a picture of me and see what happens.
We took a picture, and next thing you know, it started talking again.
And all of a sudden, I see all these, as the picture develops, there's all these white lines all over my face. And we're looking at it, and I'm all like, wow, this is pretty cool. And all of a sudden...
There's all these white ropes headed toward my face. Uh-oh, try.
On the side of my face is the word try.
But this time, the messages were more detailed and more personal.
Some people have very unique experiences here, very personal experiences, and it has changed many people's lives. They've actually restructured the way they've approached their lives after experiencing what's going on in this house.
But no one's life...
Maybe they are, I don't know, maybe they are. Like, maybe that's some of the annoying stuff that happens in our lives. It's just, the people on the other side of the veil fucking with us.
...has been touched more than Noel's.
And I did ask him if,
Oh, thank you, Donald Dank. Welcome to Art Aficionado. I appreciate that, man.
What he was. I mean, what are you? I mean, are you a guardian angel?
There's a pretty good amount. I wouldn't say there's a ton, but there's a decent amount of members content.
Oh, and he came back with the words, God's light.
And he talks about Noel a lot. Noel's very important to him.
It says more to me because I guess I'm the youngest of the three, and I probably had the most growing up, so it had a lot to do with just life in general, and it just
appreciate it, man.
Would guide me.
Okay, did we watch maybe in Sightings or a different show a similar episode? But the one that I remember was much more rudimentary than this, what was showing up on the pictures. And remember they did like an analysis of the photograph. I can't remember if it was, it almost would have had to have been like a real early Sightings probably.
In kind of like a spiritual way.
And it's
welcome back, it's me. Hey, it's me. Do you remember during George Dorunda when you got mad because that guy kept slapping the rhino?
Supportive and friendly and occasionally a little surprising and maybe a little frightening, but nothing I want to leave.
There have been many theories about why this is happening, but John and Noel have stopped looking for answers.
We've heard everything from ley lines to vortexes to energy streams that.
Would you guys want to watch a documentary about ley lines sometime? There's a documentary I really like that's heavily vested in ley lines.
Enable him to be able to do it at this particular location. Where is he?
And the idea that, like, you know, within the ley lines networking, you can, in theory, there would be like doorways, portals, all that kind of stuff.
Possibly can do it in other places, but for some reason it's happening here.
It's so hard to explain. It's almost like something that you have to experience for yourself.
Later on Unexplained Mysteries, a paranormal encounter strikes 4 innocent campers from Boston.
It's this huge ball of glowing.
Somebody say fired up. What's up, Terrapin Fred? Disney built on ley lines. I don't know that they'll agree to it because it's been a while since I've worked with them, but I'd love to show, what's that guy's name? He directed Hardware. I can't remember. Richard Stanley. Richard Stanley did a documentary about ley lines and doorways to other dimensions.
Pulsating light. And it kept
Severn
just
Films, I think,
following
has the
us,
rights to it.
coming closer and closer and closer.
And they claim aliens subjected
What's up,
them
Dave?
to horrifying.
Dave, are you going to be okay watching this with it being people coming after your fellow Massachusettsians?
Experiments.
I remembered pressure, heat of my physical body being ripped to shreds, like on a molecular level. It feels like death.
The New Jersey crime fighter with extraordinary powers.
Working with George is like working with a super cop.
Are the gruesome events of his past responsible for his gift?
I remember him brutally beating my mother. I think about that.
A Chicago nightclub may contain the ghosts of a tragic accident.
This building we're in now, which was one of the temporary morgues that had been set up for the victims.
A San Francisco prison houses the tortured souls of dead convicts.
There are at least 100 ghosts here, 100 entities that walk these corridors.
All that, and you'll get the final summary in our Onyx report. Here on Unexplained Mysteries. Unexplained Mysteries, Paranormal America. The creeping fingers of the paranormal reach deep, even into America's tranquil countryside.
Well, you saw that they were fishing, Dave. You got to keep one eye out all the time.
Allagash River, just north of Boston. A chilling story of a mass abduction. Were all these men taken by aliens?
The beam coming towards us.
The one guy describing being ripped apart on a molecular level sounds like somebody that took DMT for the first time.
I don't know what it's gonna do.
Or not DMT, but salvia.
Oh, it makes me feel like I'm flying apart.
A camping trip forever altered the lives of 4 men.
We were just a couple of guys camping, fishing.
Yeah, of course.
And we were excited about getting out of the city.
Terrapin Fred, of course, yeah. Like senior citizen self-defense, yeah.
And being in the wilderness.
Art students Charlie Fulse, Chuck Rack, and twins Jim and Jack Weiner were looking for
Jim and Jack Weiner.
A break from the city when they set out for the backwoods of Maine.
The last thing on our minds was any UFOs or anything like that. We just wanted to go fishing. It was very, very dark.
Oh, wow, it's the actual Jack Weiner.
So we decided to build a fire so we could find our way back to our campsite. And all 4 of us climbed in one canoe.
I think this is 2003, by the way, the show.
With our fishing equipment and headed out into the lake.
A little old.
We were out there for approximately
or a little new for our
15
usual
or 20
programming,
minutes
but
fishing with no luck. And suddenly
Weiner Brothers.
Chuck Rack said, "Hey guys, that's a heck of a case of swamp gas." And we turned around and probably 100...
displaced swamp gas was the official determination.
50, maybe 200 yards away at the most, coming out of the trees was this huge ball of glowing, pulsating light.
Yeah, on like a VHS day, or if I do a long stream, yeah.
I remember this being a very bright, round sphere of light that had kind of a roiling quality to it.
He's got a globe like McHenry.
Yellow-white in nature.
And at that point, we started paddling very quickly towards the shore. As I was paddling, I was looking over my shoulder to see where this...
That's what I'm hoping it is, Donald Dank. I'm watching these trying to figure out how to work my way into the cult.
Object was in relation to our canoe. And it kept just following us, coming closer and closer and closer. I was in a panic.
Swamp ass was to blame for the situation. Unregulated, unlicensed swamp gas.
Honest with you. A second later, it was right on, almost on top of us with this beam coming across the water right towards our canoe. And I remember thinking, well, we're not going to outrun this thing. There's no way we're going to outrun this thing. And then the next thing I remembered was standing on the beach.
Back at their campsite, the roaring fire had burnt down to embers.
Elapsed time we thought was 15 or 20 minutes, tops.
I think a lot of the ghost stuff is just people kind of, you know, fake manifesting ways to deal with their grief.
And we couldn't understand why the fire had burnt down so soon.
None of the men could account for the missing time, nor were they ready to discuss what
88% of abductees say their experience is unpleasant. They need to work on these numbers.
had just occurred.
The four of us were just left.
It wasn't pleasant to feel like you were being torn apart at a molecular level.
There standing on the beach in total silence. We didn't really even talk to each other. I guess we were in shock.
Little mention was made of the incident for 12 years, until strange dreams began to torment the Wieners.
And then
Strange dreams made of the incident.
Each other. I guess we were in shock.
Little mention was made of the incident for 12 years, until strange dreams began to torment the Wieners.
Have I experienced a ghost? I don't think so, no. I had one, like, kind of weird, unexplained thing that, like, couldn't have been, you know, mind-altering substances. I was in a cornfield with a few other people one time. It was me and a girl and then my friend and his girl. And we're just kind of, like, running around in the cornfield. And I threw an ear of corn, like, you know, a little ways over in the field. And it made, like, a huge sound like it hit a tractor or something. So we ran back to the, it was like, there was like an abandoned house close by, and we went and got up on the roof of the house and looked down, and we couldn't see anything in the field, because we were seeing like if I had hit like the farmer or something, but we didn't see anything at all, and I never did figure out what the sound was. That could have been a UFO, like invisible or something.
And then I would wake up, and I would be drenched in sweat, and my heart would be beating really fast.
I started having nightmares about being in some room,
tormenting the Wieners,
some area with these strange creatures around us.
I said, I can't believe you're telling me this, because I've been having the same dream.
A psychiatrist evaluated the twins and referred them to UFO researcher Dr. Ray Fowler. Only after agreeing to hypnosis did the brothers begin to recall their shared experience. Here are actual recordings of the session in which all four men from the...
There was no baseball. Well, Ty Cobb was there, but I didn't feel like approaching him. He seemed like a rattlesnake of a man.
Expedition relived their experience.
The beam coming towards us. I don't know what it's going to do. It makes me feel like I'm flying apart.
Each of their individual accounts depicted the same harrowing details.
Had no idea where I was. Then I realized that the three guys were sitting to my left on this bench, naked. All I knew was I was in a strange place, bench, naked. All I sitting to my left. Then I realized that the three guys were sitting to my left on this bench, naked. All I knew.
So three guys are sitting down the bench from him, naked.
Was I was in a strange place, laying naked, paralyzed with this thing coming towards me.
I remember these creatures examining my brother with a type of wand.
Oh my God, there's the thumbnail.
Next thing I remembered.
Oh no, I used a video of this guy being one of the wieners being tormented in my thumbnail.
Was they turned me over, and then they were doing some type of anal exam.
I remembered pressure, heat of my physical body being ripped to shreds, like on a molecular level. I mean, it's the only way I can verbalize it, but it is an extremely unpleasant feeling. It feels like death.
I think that the wieners opened Pandora's box because now they have questions about reality that they never had before.
He's kind of a dry personality, but he has a fun screensaver.
They have questions for which there are no answers.
To eliminate the possibility of a hoax, Ray Fowler arranged for a polygraph test to be administered.
After administering the examinations,
I did, Terrapin.
There's absolutely, positively no doubt in my mind that they are being absolutely...
Well, listen, if you're going to bring in a licensed polygraph examiner, what's the point in bringing in anybody except Ernest Reed? Because people are just going to be like, well, yeah, this guy's good, but he's no Ernest Reed.
Absolutely honest with me.
Or they're like, I wonder what Ernest Reed would have thought.
They tell me that they were confronted by a phenomena in the Allagash region.
One person might fool a polygraph examiner. You have four all passing the tests, and the polygraph examiner being convinced that all four are telling the truth is very important. I feel very strongly that what they describe is a real experience.
But to these men, the trip up the Allagash was only the start
of an
ongoing journey.
It's not over. This is an ongoing thing. We're tagged. Well, what can I do? Go hide? They're gonna find you.
Coming up on Unexplained Mysteries, a Jersey cop cleans up the streets.
No, I'm right. I get paid to be right.
And uses his psychic intuition to track down a killer.
And I talked to him. I got sick to my stomach. I knew he was the killer. I knew I was going to get him.
Nightclub workers in Chicago experience disturbing sensations.
I truly believe there's something going on here. I smelled
Allagash.
The most horrible stench of just death, rotting flesh.
And a prison in
Then I looked outside and there was a silver Mercedes Sprinter van.
Francisco, where tortured souls can't escape.
Sounds of the cell door closing. Somebody
there are at least
appearing and
100
then
ghosts.
disappearing.
That there is an energy here unlike any other that I've ever experienced.
Then we'll give you the final rundown in our Unex report. Stay tuned to Unexplained Mysteries. Unexplained Mysteries, Paranormal America. It happens in small towns and the big cities. Suddenly, without warning,
Here it is.
or slowly under the cover of night.
Oh boy.
Nowhere in America is safe from paranormal phenomena.
Paranormal policeman.
Just across
That
the
sounds
river
like a movie you'd find on Tubi.
from New York City, the police are known for their intuition when it comes to solving crimes. But Detective George Brejak's powers border on the paranormal.
Working with George
Sounds
is like
good,
working
Dave.
with a super cop, and you have like a human lie detector right next to you.
I do believe George is a psychic cop. He just knows. He sees things that other people don't see.
Judy Chamberlain on a pole match. Book it, Russo.
Brejak grew up here when the city was a much safer place to live.
It's my city. I know the streets. I know the people. I know what the people think. My city.
Over the years,
This is my city. He's overlooking it like he's Batman. Yeah, that's me. I'm the psychic cop. Yeah.
the city changed. The mills closed down in the 1950s. People lost their jobs. People like George's dad, who took his frustrations out on his family.
I remember him brutally beating my mother one night.
What's he hoping to find in
I think
there?
about that maybe that's the reason why I was given this gift.
After seeing what his mother went through, George now dedicates his life to protecting others.
Lieutenant George Brejak brings to fruition those Many gives.
Hey, Paulie Walnuts. Monsignor Mark Giordano.
God has given to him.
Oh, I thought he said believes it.
That could be his power.
No, I know I'm right. I get paid to be right. You're getting something.
George was good at his job, but it soon became apparent that he had a special talent for sniffing out criminals.
It's crazy because I'll be driving down the street like this and something will tell me to make a left turn, and I'll make a left turn, maybe go down a block or two and get somebody with a pocket full of dope.
Brejack discovered his gift over 30 years ago, working on a case that had detectives baffled.
Never forget, it was November 2nd, 1979. We had a homicide in the city of Patterson where a 7-year-old boy was missing for like 3 weeks.
As officers scoured the city,
94% of the population believe that some people have ESP. That seems kind of wild to me. 94%.
Was assigned to a stretch of railroad track. At first, he found nothing.
We went to leave. I actually got in the car, like you see on television. I put the key in the car, and something told me, go check the wooded area across the railroad tracks. After leaving the car...
Yeah, I think some of the segments are like repackaged from sightings.
I got sick to my stomach, I got upset inside, and I knew I was going to find the little boy's body.
He did find the boy's body. Under a piece of plywood. 2 weeks later, the killer was put behind bars. This unique gift was quickly noticed by his colleagues.
Yes, you get an instinct. I get instincts.
Hey, John Nativo. He's the Passaic County Sheriff? Wow.
With this man, certain things,
he looks like a Dick Tracy villain.
Natural instinct.
Sometimes it like bothers you to think that, like, why is it you? Like, why do you have this thing about you? There was a time in Patterson where I think I solved 3 or 4 unsolved homicides in 6 months. It was crazy.
One of the most famous cases that Brejack worked on was fueled by childhood memories of his father's abuse. It involved a 24-year-old woman named Candy Austin.
You'd have to say her family was like the Norman Rockwell all-American family. The little house with the picket fence, and just by fate, Candy Austin met John Short, and it became a nightmare for Candy.
From the outside, it appeared as if their marriage was perfect. But Candy's friends sensed something was wrong.
My first instinct when I met John was I just didn't think he was the right man for her.
What Candy wasn't telling anyone was that John was beating her. The violence got worse until one tragic night.
She was abused until a kindly neighbor named Glenn Lawrence made a phone call to the authorities after a tussle.
At the Willowbrook Mall.
He wanted to talk to her about getting a divorce. They argued. He became physical with her and inadvertently strangled her. I don't think that he meant to kill her, but then he panicked and put a screwdriver.
Michael Kaplan.
Through her abs.
His hair just seems kind of off.
Desperate to throw the police off his trail, John called his father-in-law and told him that Candy was missing.
He says to his father-in-law, which was a key word, let's go look for her, meaning you and me. Not, I'm gonna go look for her. Let's go look for her. He wanted the father with him. And he says to the father-in-law, you know what? He said, let's check the Willowbrook Mall.
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, I'm sure it's, exaggerated. But to what extent, I mean, I don't really know.
John led his father-in-law to the mall. Straight to his wife's car.
He runs to the car, John Short. He said, Dad.
Straight.
Is this ATF's car? I'd rather be dancing.
To his wife's car.
He runs to the car, John Short. He said, Dad, the door's locked. He tried the door. Give me something to break the window with. So the father-in-law gave him a hammer. He comes back to the car, very excited. He smashes the glass.
John Short's act worked. The crime looked like a senseless killing. And for the next 6 years,
he's a great promo either way.
It looked like Short had gotten away with murder. When George was handed the key.
Yeah, the HBO interview, like I said, it's like he's cutting a promo the whole time about what a genius he is.
He felt an immediate connection to Candy. She reminded him of his mother, and he was determined to find out who killed her.
I took that file to my camp and read it for 3 days and come back and told my chief. I said, I'm going to solve that murder, chief.
George tapped into his own childhood memories to form a psychic profile of the murderer. It all came back to one thing.
I knew inside of me that the father had something important to tell me. And 2 days later, I called him and I said, Fred, meet me by the TikTok diner on Route 3. I want to talk to you. He was
That's why Hurricane Paro isn't here, Terrapin Fred.
like startled because I knew he had something inside of him to tell me. And what made me feel good about it at that point was that...
How cool, man. It might be, hey, meet me down at the TikTok diner. That's great. It's like you're a detective talking to Barbara Stanwyck. You're in like a trench coat in the rain. Yeah, meet me down at the TikTok diner at midnight.
This thing inside of me still worked. He says, I'll never forget. He says, I see my daughter's body every day of my life, the way it was found. He says he had to know the car was there before we got to the mall.
This was all George needed to know. It was now time to question John Short.
And I talked to him for a few minutes. I got sick to my stomach. I knew he was the killer. I knew I was going to get him.
All of George's psychic intuition led him to the murderer.
You don't like the paranormal cop, Donald Dank?
Able to break through the lies and uncover the truth. 7 years after Candy's death, John Short was arrested for his wife's murder. It was a day George will always remember.
I said to my chief, I said, this is great. I said, man, the magic is back inside of me. And when we arrested him, it was like the greatest high of my life.
George doesn't know where
These are
his
pretty
unique
long
gift comes
segments,
from.
I feel like.
He doesn't analyze it or question it.
Oh, look at that.
And don't forget it.
He doesn't
Is this a Ford Astro?
analyze it or question it. It's just what he does, who he is, and if it helps him solve one more crime, that's all the proof he needs.
And I really thank God for the gift that he has given me, because this is the perfect example how this gift works. When I leave this earth, my mark is here. I did what I had to do.
Why was he cleaning off a grave?
Next, on Unexplained Mysteries, a Chicago nightclub appears to be the home for spirits of the dead.
I stopped for a moment and I was just this really small voice just crying.
Psychics summoned to investigate make an alarming discovery.
Would this at one time have been a place where there would have been bodies or something?
In the Bay Area, one of the most brutal prisons in the world.
Men were kept chained down there.
It's really dark and it's very cold in there, and I got the chills and I had to leave. I didn't like it at all.
I'm feeling that if I stay here much longer, that I'll die.
And we'll bring you our final comments in the Onyx Report, here on Unexplained Mysteries.
Yeah, it says it collects and expands reports broadcasts on programs like Sightings and Paranormal Borderline.
Unexplained Mysteries, Paranormal America. Just because you might live in a big city, don't think you're safe from the paranormal.
Yeah, haven't they seen Ghostbusters?
Chicago, Illinois. The Excalibur nightclub attracts a daring and unusual crowd.
It's a very underground club. A lot of the people...
He can't use his psychic powers to gamble with. He can only use them to give advice for 99 cents a minute.
that hang out in the club, they're into the occult, the darker aspects of the club scene, definitely hang out here. And I'm sure a lot of that is due to the energy that's in this room.
Some believe that this energy is the evidence of a haunting. A haunting that has been experienced by everyone who works here.
What we do before the club opens at night is just kind of run upstairs and do a bathroom check. And,
What was her name? Julie Rosenwinkel? Julia Rosenwinkel.
Opens at night is just kind of run upstairs and do a bathroom check. And, I ran up there and I ran in there and I actually...
Yeah, Frighteners is a fun movie.
Thought I was like, haha, I'm all alone, maybe I'll see a ghost. And went to wash my hands and I had heard crying, and at first I was like, what is that? And I stopped for a moment and I was just this really small voice just crying.
I saw something right behind this bar. I walked in to shut the lights off, and next thing I see is a white tuxedo feature with reddish hair glowing beyond the bar. I looked one more time to make sure, and it was gone. There was nothing there.
I had one experience. I smelled the most horrible stench of just death, rotting flesh that I've ever experienced in my life. It was almost made me pass out. It was so intense.
I truly believe there is something going on here. What it is, I don't know.
At the Excalibur, the key to the mystery can be found in the building's tragic past. 1871, the Great Chicago Fire. Half of the city burns to the ground. Among the buildings destroyed was the Chicago Historical Society, which stood on the site of the Excalibur.
Who said all the ghosts are white? What would make you think that? Also, a ghost wouldn't really have a race, would it? I mean, that's your vehicle.
34 years later, a pleasure outing on the Chicago River turns deadly.
The Eastland disaster occurred on July 24th, 1915, when the Eastland, which was a excursion boat, capsized in the Chicago River, and the 2,500 people on board, about between 800 and 900 people died. And there's also been some speculation that after the Eastland disaster in 1915, that this building we're in now was one of the temporary morgues that had been set up for the victims.
Sounds like you just need to expand your horizons into more, more expansive art regions.
Could the strange activity at the Excalibur be linked to these two disasters? The club owners call psychic Jorianne Defray and paranormal researcher Peter Moscow to investigate.
Peter Moscow?
Immediately, Jorianne starts picking up telepathic impressions.
In this area, my chest is actually feeling pretty heavy. And I had heard a sense of watching out for the bodies before. Would this at one time have been a place where there would have been bodies or something?
Well, when they had the big naval disaster in the Chicago River, the Eastman,
yeah,
the cruise ship capsized, and there were hundreds of people that died. This room was used as a temporary morgue.
Oh, this room was? Oh,
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Getting a sense that somebody's behind me.
Oh, great. What'd you say
like,
that for?
I don't know, doing some kind of serving or something else to somebody else that's out here. And it kind of feels like they are not alive.
One of the managers had an experience where he saw a bartender in a white tuxedo
Good deal.
with reddish colored hair.
You got it, Peter? Got
It
something?
flashed just as I turned around here, right into this
Oh,
area.
good deal.
As I turned around, it went from about a 4.5 to 5 all the way up to the 15 on the dial there. So right in this area here, I believe
this
you're
looks
going
like some real bullshit equipment here.
to find who you're looking for.
Yeah.
There was a tremendous
I don't
burst of
trust this guy. He seems like a liar.
energy.
A few moments later, Peter's camera goes off by itself. The resulting photograph is startling.
Clearly, there are some abnormally strange streaks of light in this, which I cannot account for. I think it's the barman that triggered this abnormal
Yeah.
photography.
I thought it was fantastic that the camera had gone off by itself and that we had actually picked
Jorianne Defray, paranormal investigator.
up energy on the photograph.
Wacky ant vibes.
Jorianne and Peter confirm what the employees of the Excalibur have sensed. The spirits here are not evil. They are lost souls born of the city's darkest moments. All they want is to be remembered. Coming up on Unexplained Mysteries,
Scary as
we'll
hell.
take you on a tour of one of the toughest places in America.
Men were kept chained down there.
I'm feeling that if I stay here much longer, that I'll die.
Does a killer still stalk these corridors?
Joseph Kretzer. He was one of the toughest of the bunch.
Joseph is keeping me captive here. Joseph is placing me here against my will.
And a psychic's encounter that seems to have brought the suffering back to life.
There could not be any crime in the world worth the punishment that I feel this entity endured.
And we'll recap all the facts in our Unex report here on Unexplained Mysteries.
What a dark show.
Unexplained Mysteries, Paranormal America. Strange incidents have taken place in some of the most historic places around the country. The cold, shark-infested waters of San Francisco Bay. And at its center, Alcatraz, the Rock, the most imposing American prison ever constructed. It was home to some of the most dangerous criminals of the 20th century. But when this fortress was built, it wasn't a prison. It housed soldiers stationed here to protect the city.
It was intended to be used as a defensive point. There was a gun that would have been mounted here, but it never got used. Instead, this was turned into the first cell block on Alcatraz in 1863.
As a military prison, Alcatraz was known as the most brutal place to serve time. Prisoners were chained to the walls, beaten, and forced to do back-breaking labor. By the 1930s, Alcatraz was turned into a federal penitentiary to house gangsters. For the next 30 years, this was the final stop for criminals who were too violent and dangerous for the normal prison system. In 1963, the prison was shut down. But some say the spirits of the men who endured the brutality of the Rock are still
Reopening Alcatraz.
When you walk in, it's really dark and it's very cold in there, and I got the chills and I had to leave. I didn't like it
Sense
at all.
something strange.
Normally, I don't believe in ghosts, but in a place like that where there have been so many violent deaths and the kind of
Stephen
people
Blackmore.
that were there, you know, it's quite possible.
But the organization that maintains Alcatraz refuses to comment on the possible hauntings.
Official policy about ghosts on Alcatraz is we would say that, in effect, well, maybe things had happened, maybe they didn't. It's just something that it wasn't officially sanctioned.
To determine whether or not Alcatraz is haunted, psychic Peter James agreed to spend the night on this desolate island. Although he has been investigating hauntings.
Yeah, I mean, you'd pretty much have to completely retrofit it with, like, yeah, it would be just an inordinate amount of money.
Sites for years, nothing had prepared him for what he was about to encounter.
Alcatraz was a place that drove men mad.
Military prison.
They're in pain, and I'm in pain, and there's blood here.
They couldn't break out of the prison.
There's trouble on the Rock.
The voices of 100 tortured souls echo in Peter's brain. Peter continued his investigation, exploring every inch of the island.
My feelings are strongly that there is an energy here unlike ever.
Look how smoothly he's moving. Is he on like a treadmill?
Any other that I've ever experienced.
Ex-guard and Alcatraz.
There is an energy here unlike ever.
How he just
feelings
glides.
are strongly that there is an energy here unlike any other that I've ever experienced.
Ex-guard and Alcatraz historian Al Bloomquist agreed to review Peter's psychic impressions for accuracy. One episode brought back chilling memories.
And I feel like I'm being trapped here in this particular area.
We were told there's trouble on the Rock.
On May the 2nd, 1946, 6 inmates with other lesser accomplices.
Jim Delgado, any relation to the Delgado truck repair guy in Galveston?
Decided to blast their way out of the prison.
I feel like I'm being thrown into this cell and I'm being thrown into that cell.
During that time, they gathered up 9 officers, put them inside of cells to be used as hostages.
I am a person of authority. I feel like I should be on the other side of this of the bars, but I'm here against my will. I am here by I am placed here by force, and at the point of the gun, there's that Joseph is involved here.
Joseph Kretzer, he was one of the toughest of the bunch. He was really a mean dog.
Joseph is keeping me captive here. Joseph is placing me here against my will.
Bill Kretzer took the .45 automatic and started shooting these officers, innocent officers inside the cell.
I'm sensing that I, Bill or William, lost his life here.
William
He's got the mustache, the
later
eyebrows.
died in the hospital in San Francisco. Other officers were very seriously wounded.
The name starts with a C.
Cecil Corwin had his lower jaw torn away.
It's a wonder they weren't all killed in this spot, because they were in there in massive humanity, and here these guns firing into that cell. You could tell what kind of a person this Kretzer really was when he had to do a thing like that.
When the military arrived to put down the uprising, Kretzer and the other inmates fled to a utility corridor in C Block. Peter follows the psychic trail of the doomed prisoners.
Joseph? I'm coming through. Marty, Marty.
Oh, I thought he was doing the Bethadone thing.
Give me a better for... Marty, Mark. Give me a better verification of a name. Marvin, is that Marvin?
Marvin Hubbard.
What's up, Hugh?
Died in the utility corridor of C Block.
Ooh, there's I am responding to a sensation here, and I feel like I'm losing consciousness. And what Joseph is telling me is that he's been shot.
Joseph Dutch Kretzer died.
Oh no, Dutch?
Utility corridor of C Block.
Oh, it's cold. It's freezing back here. There's a cold spot here. Oh, yes. Hello? There is the third soul here with the letter B.
Bernard Paul Coy died in the utility corridor of C Block.
Listen, they're moaning. The pain is so intense. They're like little boys back here.
Oh my
they're moaning.
They're
Almost
showing the dead people and then having this guy do this voiceover?
asking for the guidance of their parents right now.
Peter James leaves Alcatraz with a new appreciation for the horror that went on here. Decades of violence, death, and despair, forever imprinted
I wish
in
we
the
could
walls
watch
of this
Unsolved
cold,
Mystery.
dark prison.
There are at least 100 ghosts here, 100 entities that walk these corridors, looking for a way out, looking for that life force that they seem to have lost somewhere, tragically.
I can't really say that I'm a believer myself, but like many people, I guess there are some things that just simply are unexplained.
Next, the Unex Report. We'll give you the last word on America's most paranormal. The house in Los Angeles, where ghosts communicate with the living. The campers from Boston who claim they were abducted. A New Jersey cop who solves murders using psychic powers. Spirits of the undead stalking a Chicago nightclub. The souls of violent men that seem to be locked in Alcatraz. All this and more
Didn't we
when we
just
give
hear
you the
about that?
Unex Report next.
Oh, this is summing it up. This is like Dave Brown running the matches down for us.
And now, the Unex Report. How can we explain the paranormal events happening all across America? Are there perfectly rational explanations for the circumstances of these extraordinary tales? Or are they simply cases of wishful thinking? These stories are undeniable evidence of the paranormal phenomena.
Undeniable evidence? What?
Outside of New York, a cop uses his psychic powers to find criminals and solve crimes.
I think I solved 3 or 4 unsolved homicides in 6 months. It was crazy.
He just knows. He sees things that other people don't see.
4 campers from Boston are chased by a strange white light.
The last thing on our minds was any UFOs or anything like that. We just wanted to go fishing. And it kept just following us, coming closer and closer and closer. I was in a panic, to be honest with you.
And to this day, they claim to be plagued by disturbing shared memories of an ordeal aboard an alien craft.
All I knew was I was in a strange place.
Are they really
laying
doing a
naked,
full recap?
paralyzed with this thing coming towards me. Remember,
Whoa.
naked, paralyzed with this thing coming towards
What a strange looking guy.
I remember these creatures examining my brother with a type of wand.
In San Francisco Bay, the spirits of violent criminals may still lurk in one of America's most notorious prisons.
There is an energy here unlike
America's Most Wanted? Maybe, yeah.
Any other that
I'll have to check and see. I can run some through the copyright.
I've ever experienced.
Workers at a Chicago nightclub say they experience eerie sensations.
Well, yeah, South to West, and they like built it up too throughout the show. They're like, stay tuned for the Unex report. It's just a recap.
I went to wash my hands and I had heard crying, and at first I was like, what is that? And I stopped for a moment, and I was just this really small voice just crying.
I smelled
liberal arts trad.
The most horrible stench of just death, rotting flesh.
These feelings may be linked to the walking spirits of the victims of a horrible accident.
The Eastland capsized in the Chicago River. This building we're in now was one of the temporary morgues that had been set up.
Ghosts found a disturbing way.
Well, remember, like this entire show is kind of filler. I mean, it's taken like a few 10-year-old shows and kind of sprucing up the segments, you know.
Living in this Los Angeles house.
Whatever is on the Polaroids, it is their way of saying, pay attention, this is how we're communicating with you.
Some of the things that would happen, you get kind of nervous or get a little frightened.
Then, a psychic confirms an ugly secret that may be at the heart of the haunting.
I got that tingling sensation right now. And it's also very cold here.
Right over here, near the TV set, is where there's supposedly a dead body buried under the floor.
But the residents have learned things from their ghostly tenant.
And it just would guide me in kind of like a spiritual way.
Some people have very unique experiences here, very personal experiences, and it has changed many people's lives.
Across America, paranormal events shock, frighten, and inspire people in towns like yours every day. But are these events
like
real?
Mine?
Is there a reason for them that can be found in nature or deep in the human mind? These are crucial questions, but for now, they must remain unexplained mysteries.
It's not over. What can I do? Go hide? They're gonna find you.
Thank you, Henry Winkler.
We knew that we had a
He did. He got the credit. Did you see that?
We knew that.
There you go. He got to keep the credit.
We had a serial killer.
All right, let's watch another one.
She looked at the palm print and started telling us what happened.
This time on Unexplained Mysteries, Psychic Crime Solvers.
It's like looking at a big screen movie that I'm in the middle of.
We don't know how it works. If we did, it wouldn't be mysterious.
With our case studies, you'll meet 5 women with uncanny abilities.
I'm gonna pass on that. Sorry.
Don't come in here. God help you if you should go in this room.
This time on Unexplained Mysteries, America's Most Haunted.
Yes, there we go.
Please, somebody notice that I'm here.
And I actually thought, I was like, haha, I'm all alone. Maybe I'll see a ghost.
Unsolved murders, unsolved questions, unpunished perpetrators of horrible deeds.
We'll explore the unexplained phenomenon of hauntings. Eyewitnesses have experienced them all across America, from California to Colorado to Florida. With our case studies, you'll hear the true stories of people whose lives have been altered forever.
The feelings I'd been having must be very similar to the feelings
Oh no,
that
that's
someone
one of my all-time favorites, the train story.
just before they're gonna die.
The expert who explores every scientific possibility.
These are chemicals which can create a hallucinogenic effect on the people.
And the psychic who uncovered a mystery.
He said, I didn't kill him. I didn't kill him, and he's angry. Don't be angry at me.
You'll visit the rustic lodge with a history of murder.
Something is there,
and you can feel it. You're repelled by it.
The Indian reservation with a bloody past.
There's like a school of the children of the dead.
The Chicago nightclub and its connection to 2 tragic disasters.
I smelled
Did he
the
say
most
the Excalibur nightclub? This is shameless
horrible
levels of
stench of death. I truly believe there's something going on here. What it is, I don't know.
And the country music bar known as Hell's Gate.
And her head was given as a blood sacrifice to the devil.
There's a psychic image of a lot of blood in this room. A lot of blood.
When I looked back up, the voice was screaming, "Get out! Get out!"
And we'll give you our final analysis in our Unex report as we
great.
uncover the truth about ghosts.
See, stay tuned for the final analysis.
On Unexplained Mysteries, America's Most Haunted. Every town has one, whether it's a dilapidated mansion, an abandoned factory, or even a secluded mountain hideaway. There's someplace no one goes at night. They are places of death, of tragedy, and of sorrow. They are America's Most Haunted. It is a picture postcard retreat that has hosted some of the most famous luminaries of the 20th century. And then there are the guests who never left.
It's impossible to live there and not feel it. It's going on all around you.
I believe there's something.
It attacks people who seem to be the most vulnerable.
I do believe in ghosts. I never had before, but I do now.
Bill Gilbert owns the Brookdale Lodge. It is located in Northern California. But for those who live here and work here, this is not a restful place.
I was cleaning the tables, and when I looked up, I saw this little girl. Her face, her image was on the other side of the window, and couldn't see any of her body except for the top part of her.
One of the most unique attractions of the lodge is a brook that runs through the center of the building. But it too has a dark history.
Wow. That's kind of fancy.
In 1955, a terrible flood raced through the lodge. And then the following year, just as they were getting back on their feet, the famous dining room burned down.
Jennifer is Bill Gilbert's daughter. She lives at the lodge and has felt the power of the Brook Room.
I walked into the Brook Room. That's where the river runs through the restaurant. And the second I walked into the
Baked like a steakhouse potato? Wow, that's true.
room, a hot sensation came over my lips.
Christopher Chacon and his team of paranormal investigators are here to rule out any. Christopher Chacon and his
A hot sensation came over my lips.
Christopher
These look like something out of one of the afternoon movies.
Chacon and his team of paranormal investigators are here to rule out any natural causes. He examines the water running through the building. Maybe it holds some hidden clue.
Like, you can't eat in that room, right? You can't eat in a room where there's like a river running through it. Wouldn't the health department have something to say about that? Or do they? Well, I guess you couldn't catch. I was thinking like you could offer fresh fish from the creek.
We look for radon in the air, toxic or hazardous chemicals.
Christopher Chacon.
And these are chemicals which can create a hallucinogenic effect on the people and make them imagine that they're having experiences.
Jennifer and her sister Kim are not so quick to dismiss the things that they have experienced.
I live right in the lodge, and there's been the doors broken off of the hinges. There's been planks
Haunted lodge trad.
torn off the walls.
It was from the inside,
Get your own
and it was
fish
like
dinner,
the tearing
yes.
off of something supernatural.
Psychic Sylvia Brown is here to find answers.
Oh boy, Sylvia Brown.
She is drawn to the famous Brook Room. A crime plays out in front of her.
All of a sudden, from the side comes a dark woman with a big braid. The child spins around, and the woman seems like she's pushing.
Sylvia's revelation casts new light on a known piece of Brookdale history.
One of the tragedies of that era was when the niece of the
This guy's great, Ross Gibbs. He was like a Memphis manager.
lodge owner drowned in the famous brook.
Maybe this drowning wasn't an accident. Could this unpunished crime explain what is happening here? Christopher Chacon has ruled out any natural explanation and is left with only one conclusion.
The experiences people are having here are very real, and that they are perhaps in some way a ghost or a residue haunting taking place.
The area itself, and especially the lodge, is a very beautiful place, but there is an evil presence there.
Georgetown, Colorado.
Yeah, they do need to get Peter James in there.
Outside Denver, along the Westward Trail, settlers came here to mine silver and stake
He'd be like walking up and pacing up and down the creek.
out a future for themselves.
This
100
water is
years
cold.
later, and the town looks the same. The silver is gone, but the buildings remain, along with the spirits of the pioneers.
True, Donald Dank. Maybe it's a gas leak.
Who died here.
Maybe it's unregulated, poorly contained swamp gas.
Bill Pentland and Becky Richardson moved here to
Unstable swamp
escape
gas.
city life. They fell in love with Georgetown's easygoing atmosphere and gentle pace. They bought a historic building and opened up the Full Circle Cafe. Right away,
gotta get a
the
drink,
couple
I'll be right back.
noticed that something was wrong.
Little subtle things started happening, just noises and just some things rattling and things like that.
We turned the TV off, it's on, but we turned the lights off, they're on.
Anything that had to do with water was breaking down. Ice machines, sinks, toilets, pipes under the ground.
I mean, it happened night after night after night after night.
These little annoyances were frustrating, but they quickly became a part of the routine. It was all just a part of the Georgetown experience.
Whippets?
Then,
Hell yeah.
the incidents became more violent.
I was by myself, and something came up from behind me and grabbed.
I've told this story before, but I was at a party one time where some people were doing whippets, and a guy had like a whole briefcase full of them, and this girl I knew was doing them, and she did one where, like, I don't honestly know whether it lasted longer than she thought it did, or if it genuinely lasted a long time, but typically it's a very short window of time, and hers just kept going and going, at least according to her, and she thought that she had for sure, like, fucked her brain permanently somehow, and then she swore him off, like, forever.
The bar stool and like turned me around just like you would just like turn around real fast, you know, or something in your
We were all laughing our asses off though, because she was like freaking out, but I didn't think she was serious. I thought she was just messing around.
chair.
Someone or something was still here, and Bill and Becky wanted to know what it was.
Full doomer.
They contacted psychic Peter James, hoping he could provide some answers.
Pig
My
feces.
preliminary sense of what is within the structure, not necessarily here as we speak, is a male entity.
Here he is.
And I pick up the name of Edward. And I'm Edward B, is all I get so far. His last name has 2 syllables.
Well, whatever happened, it was enough for her. It was enough for her, and it scared her off of him for good.
Boom, boom. And it sounds like ridge or bridge.
In 1867, Edward Bainbridge and John Martin were playing poker at Nichols Saloon, now the Full Circle Cafe. When Bainbridge lost the hand, he drew his revolver and shot Martin in the face.
And he said James was an SOB, and he made me angry. But there's something around his neck. And he also talks about being around some rocks. I don't know what that means, but he's around some rocks.
An angry crowd dragged Bainbridge to a place known as the Point of Rocks and hanged him.
And he said, I didn't kill him. I didn't kill him, and he's angry. Don't be angry at me.
When the mob returned to Georgetown, they discovered that Martin didn't die. Bainbridge hadn't killed anyone.
What I get is the reason why he's here is because he wants us to know that he was accused of something that either didn't happen or he didn't do it. And until that's made public, he's not going to rest.
Next up, more of America's most
Just issue a press release.
haunted. The Native American reservation with a history soaked in blood.
When I left the land, I was at the point of tears.
I can't say what it is, but there's definitely something in the basement.
That guy was a badass. You see.
Disasters tied to a gothic nightclub in downtown Chicago.
It's like, haha, I'm all alone. Maybe I'll see a ghost.
I smelled the most horrible stench of.
This is episode 3. How could they use this at least some of the same segment from like 2 episodes ago?
Just death. I truly believe there is something going on here. What it is, I don't know.
Blood Alley, America's most haunted highway.
I was so scared I just kept trying to get as fast as I could to get out of there.
And the country western bar that stands at the gateway to hell.
Satanic worshipers went there at night to worship and praise the devil.
And when I looked back up, the voice was screaming, "Get out, get out."
A psychic image of a lot of blood in this room. A lot of blood.
And we'll give you the ultimate update with our Onyx report.
Rosenwinkler.
Stay tuned for more on Unexplained
Yeah, it was the completely same segment, it looks like.
Mysteries. Unexplained Mysteries, America's most haunted.
When I looked up, that's when I saw the woman in the road.
Union Cemetery, Connecticut. Reports of a white spectral presence are common here. Psychic Lorraine Warren has spent years studying this white lady. She has a theory as to why the apparition cannot rest.
Black spirits, or inhuman spirits,
See, there you go. Are you still here, G? Thanks.
seem to
She has a
Lorraine
theory as Lorraine Warren
covered
has
your
spent years
concerns.
studying this white lady. She has a theory as to why the apparition cannot rest. This was common here. Psychic Lorraine Warren has spent years studying this white lady. She has a theory as to why the apparition cannot rest.
black spirits, or inhuman spirits, seem to not allow her to get the help that she needs in order to pass on correctly. So for that reason, she remains earthbound.
Lorraine and her husband Ed have dedicated themselves to helping others understand their experiences here.
If we would be in any pain or any anguish, we would go up to someone we felt a great deal of sensitivity from. The spirit would do exactly the same thing. Like attracts like, and the spirit
So-called
found
white lady.
compassion in a man like him.
White ghost.
I was very sad. I started crying in my car. I
Rod
don't know
Vesey.
if part of it was nerves that I was frightened, or if it was just the sadness that came over me was incredible.
The sense of sorrow that he felt is the compassion that he felt for that particular spirit. That is called radiotelethesis, where you feel the pain or the anguish of the particular spirit.
What makes this haunting so remarkable are the photographs. Ed and Lorraine regularly lead tours through Union Cemetery. They guide the spirit photographers to the White Lady.
See, you're not photographing a ghost. The ghost is implanting its image.
There have been people from every walk of life who have gone into those two cemeteries, Union and Stephanie, and come out with fantastic psychic pictures.
As long as the White Lady wanders this cemetery, Ed and Lorraine will continue to try and give her
Y'all
the
seen the
peace
white
she
lady down at the
seeks.
cemetery?
She was human one time. She still has human feelings, but she's very confused.
For those who have crossed paths with the White Lady, it is an experience they will never forget.
Clarence would say when a so-called white ghost tell you that they're being prevented from ascending by so-called black spirits, that's a manipulation.
This experience has taken away any doubt in my mind that there is a life after death. Our spirit definitely goes somewhere.
Outside Carson, Nevada, stands the Stewart Indian School. These decaying stone buildings are a link to the past for the Native Americans still living here. The school has been closed for more than 70 years now. The students, long gone. Or are they?
I have seen two
What are you confused about, Donald Dank?
children that are
Mike Perez.
playing on the grass. But as I keep walking, I turn back to look at them. They're no longer there.
Very Bill Dundee coded.
Native Americans are not afraid of death, and the sight of these spirit children is a blessing.
They seem to be playing with each other, rolling around with each other, and when you take a second look, they have gone.
But there's another spirit here, in the basement of the administration building. He is known as the superintendent. Bo Sargent recalls his first trip down these stairs.
I felt scared. My whole body was just nothing but goosebumps.
Bo Sargent.
And my hair was standing, and like that odor. Oh, that was the odor that I smelled down there seemed to stay
Yeah, white lady.
right inside my nose.
Other reports paint a picture of a tortured soul.
I've heard stories that he stands in front of the fireplace and with a blanket wrapped around him, and he shivers, he's cold, trying to get warm.
I think that what a lot of these people have seen
Susie, Lisa.
are the
Two first
remains
names.
of that energy. Unresolved conflict, unsolved murders, unsolved questions, unpunished perpetrators of horrible deeds.
Psychic Jorianne DeFray is called in to answer
Wow,
the
what
question.
an epic intro. Look at
What
this.
is happening? And
Aura
DeFray.
farming.
Unpunished perpetrators of horrible deeds.
Psychic Jorianne DeFray is called in to answer the question, what is happening here?
What a
Called in to
badass.
Perpetrators of horrible deeds.
Psychic
What was her
Questions.
catchphrase?
Unpunished perpetrators of horrible deeds.
Unpunished perpetrators of horrible deeds. And just look at this. I mean, this is cinema.
Psychic Jorianne DeFray is called
Wow.
in to answer the question, what is happening here?
Well,
Jorianne
so
wanders
epic.
the old school grounds, picking up psychic energy. These impressions begin to tell a tragic story.
I don't know if there's been slaughter on this property. I don't
She needs a larger coat.
know what's going on here, but the loss is overwhelming. I believe that the government has had stuff to do here or something. I don't know if this land has changed hands or whatever, but what was once yours will be yours again, like that. Okay, does that make sense to you?
Completely.
A lot of people died here, just unbelievable. A lot of people also somewhere
Looks like Webster's mom became a psychic investigator.
were cut down in their prime.
Yes, these
Here.
are the children you're talking about.
Tell
I
him,
really feel
Susie.
bad for you guys because there's so much injustice here.
From 1890 to 1930, Native American children are forcibly taken from their families. They are sent to the Stewart School
She
to
is an
learn the
enigma.
ways of the white man.
It was a roundup, a wholesale roundup, much like you'd gather unbranded cattle. And some of the children were actually even brought here in cattle cars. So the process was a mandatory roundup.
This was a place designed to break the spirit of these children. Tradition and culture were destroyed. Atrocities committed. Now, the children are speaking out.
Oh boy.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you right away. The sense that I get in here is like this, don't come in here. All right, don't come into this room, okay?
She just, to me, looks like a classic 80s mom.
God help
Like
you
central casting.
if you should go in this room, okay? Like something or somebody is gonna get you.
The evil energy within this room soon overwhelmed Jorianne.
Why aren't they here? Who's not here to like save us? And then having to run, and no one is here. Somebody on the other side holds the children's hands, okay? There's like a school of the children of the dead.
Jorianne's revelation has opened up old wounds and brought new hope She leaves knowing that as long as the spirit children dwell here, they will be protected.
What's up,
We honor the spirits of the children who are here. We love them.
Coming up on Unexplained Mysteries, America's Most Haunted. The highway paved with atrocities of the past.
It was like all of a sudden, time became like a glass cage of horror.
Everybody was being like possessed by something that was driving them to destruction.
The Chicago nightclub with a tragic past.
I actually thought it was like, haha, I'm all alone, maybe I'll see a ghost.
A lot of the people that hang out in the club, they're into the occult.
And the Kentucky bar that was once Satan's altar.
And her head was given as a sacrifice, a blood sacrifice.
Bobby Mackey's?
To the devil.
There's been definitely violent death in this place.
And we'll unlock the mystery of these ultimate hauntings in our Unex report.
No, you're not. It's just a recap.
Coming up on Unexplained Mysteries.
We're going to unwind all these mysteries in the Unex report.
Unexplained Mysteries, America's Most Haunted. Pacheco Pass Highway. It has been described as the most deadly 42 miles of road in America and known as Blood Alley. Those who drive here say Pacheco Pass is haunted.
I began to feel that I was being invaded. I saw a little girl with her hands pressed up to her eyes, screaming, "Help me, help me." I saw men hanging up on a hill, like somebody put them up on a gallows. It was like a montage of horror.
1797.
No, Peter James is just going to wander around the area screaming.
The
Hope for
Native
the best.
Americans of Pacheco Pass are taken prisoner by the Spanish. They are rounded up and forced to work at San Juan Baptista Mission. After staging a bloody rebellion, the Native Americans are soon wiped out by Spanish soldiers. 1860 to 1880, famed bandits Joaquin Murrieta and Tiburcio Vasquez used the pass as a hideout and hunting ground. They rob, rape, pillage, and kill. Settlers are routinely attacked here. This trail to the west is soaked in blood. Today, drivers still feel the vibrations of that violence and bloodshed.
They do?
Pacheco Pass seems to have some kind of, if you will, a tornado of emotion. And it's like traumatic events all concentrated into a ball, or a whirling mass, or a vortex of some kind.
It's almost like there was layers of time upon time. There was fighting, there was Indians, there was covered wagons. Everything that I experienced was like bloodshed, futility, despair.
Police dispel the idea that Route 52 is haunted. But then, there are those who have experienced the terror of driving through this pass.
It was like all of a sudden, time became like a glass cage of horror. It was like I couldn't push out of it.
Everybody was being like possessed by something
Now, Lucille seems pretty trustworthy. She's just a terrified motorist.
that was driving them to destruction.
I was so scared, I just kept trying to get as fast as I could to get out of there.
Echoes of the past reverberate here. A bloody history replayed in the minds of drivers braving the road known as Blood Alley.
I don't know that I can put my finger on it because I'd never delved into the psychic all that much and hadn't thought that much about ghosts and things like that. But I did have the feeling that death was around the next corner.
What's up, mac and cheese? Oh, this is one of my favorites, but we did just watch this one.
This is the Spirit of Oregon. Passengers who ride the refurbished locomotive
51.
get a trip back in time to the age of gold rushes and robber barons. And a few spirits from the past are still along for the ride.
The spirit of Oregon is very much alive.
But it wasn't until the maiden voyage that signs began to appear.
We were showing the before pictures that we took of the train, and one of the gentlemen said, "Hey, you've got a ghost in your picture," and we
Dining car trad.
kind of scuffed at it because all you could see was a blue haze.
As the locomotive's popularity grew, strange things started
His best vein for partying, hell yeah.
happening.
Was a
What do you mean
bartender
you hate this train? I love this
on the
train.
train that would have glasses blow up in his hand, or dishes will fly off, or chairs will get jerked out from underneath you.
We had a lot of really strange things happen. Beating on the walls.
Vicky Doctor. She looks like a blackjack dealer.
On our offices when there's nobody out here. And we'll see people walking through the trains when we know the train's locked up and it has a security system on it.
Passengers were even being affected. Michael Palmer and his wife booked a trip to celebrate her birthday. It was August 6th. Suddenly, Michael feels a current of psychic energy pass through him.
It was like a despair, an empty.
Oh yeah, the pallbearer guy.
Suddenly a realization came to me that the feelings I'd been having must be very similar to the feelings that someone has just before they're gonna die.
Something was wrong on the Spirit of Oregon, and the only clue was the blue figure that had materialized in the middle of the photograph. A photo that was still developing.
Oh yeah, this was their big evidence here.
After it was taken.
We could see it was changing. We couldn't understand it at first, and then as it kept getting clearer and clearer, we happened to mention it to a gentleman by the name of Edmund Stone.
Edmund Stone, a local television producer, decided to do a story on the refurbished train. With Wade Evans behind the camera, Stone starts interviewing passengers. But within moments, Wade has to stop.
I felt something was inside of me trying to get out, actually. Then I started feeling emotional. Tears were rolling down my eyes.
This is my favorite, this guy, man. He really feels it.
I felt very sad. In fact, I actually threw up and had to, and got weak. Couldn't stand for a moment.
These were the same feelings Michael Palmer experienced. On the same train, on the same day, 1 year later, on August 6th.
I started to wonder, I know it sounds strange, if perhaps
I forgot
there was a
this guy
reason
too.
it was happening at that time.
Stone was determined to find out why.
And the more I looked into it, the more I thought, if there's a reason that things are happening, maybe it's connected with a train crash.
See, there you go. Oh, my bad, it's still going.
Southern Pacific 687 is on a routine run. It approaches a trestle under construction. Mary Jane Walker's father was on that train.
Unbeknownst to them that all support
Oh, yeah, Mary Jane Walker. She wants her dad's name cleared.
taken away from the trestle.
The train is waved on by workers. Halfway across, the bridge begins to sway.
And they didn't even get all the way over, and it went down like a deck of cards.
The terrible crash claimed the life of 5 men, including Mary Jane's father.
And we start to look, we realize, hey, maybe this wasn't such an accident after all. Then what if they were trying to tell us, hey, look at this, because we shouldn't have died?
As more information about the wreck is revealed,
Ghost calendars?
the images in the photograph seem to become more vivid.
You could see where they had the old-fashioned blue railroad shirt and the old-fashioned vest, and then you could actually start seeing...
Sounds like this music behind it sounds crazy. That couldn't have been on the original sightings.
some lantern hanging down.
I'm a believer. I think that it had to come. Somehow, they had to get it out, the men. Their spirit would not rest until the truth was known about that damn wreck.
Coming up on Unexplained Mysteries, the witnesses.
It's just this really small voice just crying.
I smelled the most horrible stench of just death.
The evidence.
There are 2 clear presences on that photograph.
I thought it was fantastic that we had actually picked up energy on the photograph.
The experts.
It was a tremendous burst of energy.
This is something that I don't think can be explained away in terms of
simpler theories.
The psychics.
Road
There's a lot
rash.
of blood in this room. A lot of blood.
The most haunted.
Their blood was poured into a well. The well
Yeah,
is
this is what I'm waiting for, Bobby Mackey's.
known as Hell's Gate.
And you'll get the ultimate account with our Unex report. Coming up on Unexplained Mysteries. Unexplained Mysteries. America's Most Haunted. The Excalibur. Chicago, Illinois. This nightclub attracts
Just because he cried?
a daring and unusual crowd.
It's a very underground club. A lot of the people that hang out in the club, they're into the occult, the darker aspects of the club scene definitely hang out here. And I'm sure a lot of that is due to the energy that's in this room.
Some believe that this energy is the evidence of a haunting. A haunting that has been experienced by everyone who works here.
What we do before the club opens at night is just kind of run upstairs and do a bathroom check. And I ran up there and I ran in there and I actually thought, I was like, haha, I'm all alone, maybe I'll see a ghost. And went to wash my hands and I had heard crying, and at first I was like, what is that? And I stopped for a moment and it was just this really small voice just crying.
I saw something right beyond this bar. I walked in.
I can't believe they put this in the only with one episode in between.
To shut the lights off, and next thing I see is a white tuxedo feature with reddish hair glowing beyond the bar. I looked one more time to make sure, and it was gone. There was nothing there.
I had one experience.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really do it wrong. Whatever you think is a trad is what you think is a trad.
I smelled the most horrible.
I think of it like Pokemon, all the different types of trads that, you know, you can spot.
Stench of just death, rotting flesh that I've ever experienced in my life. It was almost made me pass out. It was so intense.
I truly believe there is something going on here. What it is, I don't know.
At the Excalibur, the key to the mystery can be found in the building's tragic past. 1871.
Come on, man.
After she was
at the psychic Jorianne Defray and paranormal researcher Peter Moscow to an impression.
Oh yeah, Peter I can't believe they reused it so fast.
A temporary.
And almost there. Yeah.
There's that junk.
Yeah.
Coming up on Unexplained Mysteries, the most haunted place in America.
Here we go.
A tavern with an evil history.
And her head was given as a sacrifice, a blood sacrifice to the devil.
A spirit on a rampage.
There was always a voice saying, get out, get out.
There's been definitely violent death in this place.
And the owner who is afraid for his life.
I won't come in here unless I have to by myself.
And finally, will
You did some spirit photography, Heathen?
Analyze the evidence in our Unex report on Unexplained Mysteries. Unexplained Mysteries, America's Most Haunted. Welcome to Bobby Mackey's Music World in Wilder, Kentucky.
Bobby Mackey's Music World.
What patrons of this bar don't know is that it used to be a slaughterhouse. The blood-soaked floors tell a gruesome story to anyone who ventures inside this
I'm looking for
site.
something in my playlist.
Satanic worshippers
Satanic?
went there at night.
Site.
Satanic worshippers went there at night
Satanic?
to worship and praise the devil due to the blood that was spilled there from the dead animals. Their blood was poured into a well. The well is known as Hell's Gate.
When the slaughterhouse closed, the well was sealed up. But this building's bloody history was just beginning.
In 1896, a girl named Pearl Bryant was beheaded somewhere in that area. Two men, Alonzo Walling and Scott Jackson, were arrested for that crime.
The killers were sentenced to death, but they never told police where the head was, even after the judge offered to spare their lives.
The rumors that have abounded here for years is simply that these two men were satanic worshipers, and her head was given as a sacrifice, a blood sacrifice to the devil. And they would rather die than suffer Satan's wrath.
Pearl was 5 months pregnant when she was murdered. The father, one of her killers. Pearl's head was never found, but her spirit still haunts this country western bar.
Many, many people have sworn they've seen the form of a headless girl floating through the nightclub, moving through the crowd when the band's up on the stage playing.
Yeah, I won't come in here unless I have to by myself, because this is a very dark, eerie, weird feeling building.
Echo Bodine is a psychic. She channels the energy and forms a picture in her mind. But when she enters the basement of Music World, Echo is unprepared for what happens next.
There's a psychic image of a lot of blood in this room. A lot of blood. A lot of hatred. There's definitely an energy here that does not want me to do any of this. All right? I mean,
Echo Bodine?
Strong.
Echo's visions convince the researchers that there is more than one uneasy spirit here.
There's been definitely violent death in this place, and sad death. I kept hearing voices crying about the broken dreams.
You want to see the ghost
place.
picture?
The broken dreams that trace
devil
back to
needs
a
blood,
tragic
yes.
love story from the 1930s.
There was a
Blood for the blood
tall
god.
girl there named Johanna. She became pregnant by a man named Robert Randall, who was a singer at the club. Her father supposedly had
Dale.
Robert Randall killed. This was according to a diary that was found inside the nightclub.
Burt Reynolds.
She consequently poisoned her father and herself and committed
sister.
suicide inside the same nightclub. Johanna, according to the diary, was 5 months pregnant.
At the time of her death, Pearl Bryant was also 5 months pregnant. And Bobby Mackey had his own connection to the building's dark history.
At 1 day old, his umbilical cord, where the doctor had severed it, had ruptured and he almost died. For some unknown reason, his mother changed his name to Robert Randall Mackey. Robert Randall, the same name as the singer.
I didn't want to hear it. And I told him, in fact, to keep quiet about it. I didn't want it getting around because I had everything I owned stuck in here. And I had to make a success of this some way or other.
Then Mackey's wife, Janet, had her own encounter. Attacked by an unseen force, she too was 5 months pregnant.
Something had grabbed me around the waist. Seemed like it was trying to attack my child. And it picked me up and threw me back down.
Janet Mackey.
Then when that happened, something grabbed my head and was kind of forcing me down. I got away from him, and when I got to the top of the stairs, there was pressure behind me, pushing me down the steps. And when I looked back up, the voice was screaming, "Get out, get out."
The attack sent Janet into early labor. The child was saved, but the experience has scarred her for life. From its days as a slaughterhouse to the satanic rituals and the murder-suicide of 2 young lovers to the attack on a pregnant woman, Music World's terrible history continues. Next, the Unex Report will examine the evidence and answer the questions. What causes a haunting? Is it residual energy absorbed into the environment? Or do the spirits of the undead walk among us? Or could it be something else that we don't understand? What does the White Lady...
You don't think that ghosts can reach over into they can't physically do things?
have in common with the demon?
Because of their ethereal, entities, their ethereal vehicles.
Of Hell's Gate. Next, with our Onyx Report, when Unexplained Mysteries returns. Unexplained Mysteries, America's Most Haunted. And now for the Onyx Report.
Oh no.
According to some, a tragic event from the past can sometimes manifest itself in a particular place. And when it bleeds through into our world, We call it a haunting. Scientists researching these haunted sites have confirmed that something is happening.
This is something that I don't think can be explained away in terms of magnetic fields or radiation. I think that it's something of a genuine parapsychological nature.
But no one seems to agree what exactly is causing these hauntings.
They could in fact be nothing more than impressions that have been left behind in the environment that certain people are perceiving and sensing under certain extraordinary circumstances.
Eyewitnesses have nothing more to go on than the uneasy feeling they experience inside one of these haunted sites.
The second I walked into the room, a hot sensation came over my lips.
You get a really weird
There's the indoor creek trap.
feeling as you're going down the stairs.
Almost like she was reaching out, not to get me, but reaching out for something.
Can a psychic's vision offer any answers?
There's like a
They sound like manipulators, heathen.
school of the children of the dead. And they sit all by the water, waiting for you to come talk to them.
There's definitely an energy here that does not want me to do
Oh, I don't want to sit through the rest of this. Hang on. Let's stay in UFOs, but I mean, I feel like we've seen quite a few of these segments. So let's stay in the UFO realm and switch to Luke West, new video, I'm a Disappointment. All right, let's check this out.
In her is what her eyes are doing.
Hold on. Here we go. Whoa.
Since 1947, the official government response to UFOs has been denial, while secretly compiling storehouses of information, even in the face of credible witnesses and expert testimony. The allegations of flying discs and alien visitors have been debunked. It has even been charged that U.S. citizens have been threatened with death if they ever tell what they saw. Times have changed. Science has changed. It's time to take another look. It's time to reopen the UFO file.
Let's go.
Oh, come on!
Yeah, I mean, if they can't hurt you physically, I mean, why would you be scared of them?
Mr. and Mrs. Paul Trent worked on a small farm just outside of McMinnville, Oregon. On a clear spring evening in 1950, they witnessed and captured on film an event that would change their lives forever. The resulting photographs will stand to this day as the single most convincing piece of evidence supporting the existence of UFOs. On a hot August evening in 1955, a family of religious southern sharecroppers claimed they were attacked by a dozen glowing little men. They responded the only way they knew how.
I gotta clean the litter box. I'll be right back.
Well, there are two parts to this story, actually. One is what I consciously remember, and one is what I didn't learn until I went under hypnosis in 1980. The first part that I consciously remember, I was riding in a car with three men. One was my husband in the front seat, and the driver who owned the car, and a young Army corporal in the back seat.
An event in 1940 began a long and terrifying journey for Ida Kannenberg. One that would lead her to the brink of mental breakdown and near suicide. Houghton lies nestled in the hills of rural Alabama. Folks here are given to hard work. Their deeply held religious beliefs are fervently attended by the Pentecostal church nearby. Melly Coton was a woman of this stock. She never allowed liquor in the home. As one observer noted, she did not seem to be a woman that was easily amused. A junior reporter at the local paper
Not
was
easily
the first
amused.
to get the story.
I don't care what people are saying. It happened, and that's all there is to it. I wouldn't have believed it myself if I hadn't have seen it with my own eyes.
Melly's youngest son, Lyle Coton, was sitting in the front room with his friends, Bobby Joe and Bobby Joe's wife, June.
The Book of Enoch.
I remember we just got home from church. Arlene and I were getting supper ready.
Her oldest boy, John, was just returning also.
Bobby Joe and June was sitting in the corner, and I asked him if he'd go out to the well for some water.
Is that Tom Green?
Bobby Joe came busting into the house, carrying on saying that he had seen a flying saucer land in the hollow out back of the house. Well, they were all laughing and teasing him because he was going on and on about it. I think it was John said it was probably a fallen star.
No, Heathen, I'm not familiar. What is that?
Melly's husband, Opie, was just returning from the fields where they raised tobacco.
When O.P. came in, he didn't believe a word of it. Then after dinner, the dogs
Hello, Bethadone Clinic.
started barking, and I said, O.P., go outside and see what's the matter with that dog.
Opie wasn't prepared for what he'd find in the darkness.
I was in the kitchen cleaning up
What do you mean, Bethadone? We're talking right now.
when I heard him call in, Lyle, look out here.
Oh, so those are books of the Bible that were removed. But later, somebody found them. Is this the white lady? Oh my God, what? Wow, what do you mean do I miss you? We talk just about every day. Well, how can we miss each other? Man, imagine you open up your window to this. Man, what a budget. Oh my God.
I heard all this commotion. Somebody yelled, "It's out the window!" That's when I saw it too. I fainted dead away.
The men went instinctively for their guns.
The heathen wouldn't have to mess around with all that. He'd just open up the gun safe, grab the AR-15, and whoever that is out there in that cheap Halloween costume wouldn't last very long.
Heavily armed, they set out to do battle.
Oh my God. Wow.
The witnesses reported that the little men approached.
Imagine I opened the window to you. I could almost see that with one of your strange crazy looks.
The house with their arms raised in stick-em-up fashion. Lyle turned off the inside lights, hoping the creatures would go away.
I kept saying, they don't seem to mean us no harm.
Imagine you open your heart and it's me, Bethadone.
Just let them be. But he was scared, and he said, I'm going to shoot the little man, Mama. Then we heard them knocking things over outside on the porch.
One day
and
I
then
will
one
see
of them
that,
got
okay.
up on the roof.
Whoa! Oh my
I heard
God.
him yell. One of them grabbed my hair. And I heard the shot.
Did you see that combat roll?
And I heard the shot. Then they would just run off in the bushes for a while.
The ensuing game of cat and mouse went on for the next 4 hours.
Imagine you got this guy up on your roof, south to west. There might be. There's so many found footage movies.
Feeling helpless at the ineffectiveness of their guns, they decided to make
I'd like
a
to
break
see
for
it if there is.
and get help from the sheriff in town.
Yeah, the guy earlier said it felt like he was being torn apart on a molecular level, and there was also anal probes.
The family returned later with the state police and Chief Greenwell from the sheriff's office. After a somewhat...
The earliest one I remember was the one about the Jersey Devil. I can't remember what the name of it was. But yeah, the very first like found footage that I ever saw, I think, was the one about the Jersey Devil. That was about, I don't remember, I think it was before Blair Witch, but not too long before it. Or I guess really one of the oldest supposed to be found footage would be Cannibal Holocaust, because it was presented like they had some of the footage they had found on the native that made it to New York and got killed by the cops.
Tense investigation. The authorities could not confirm or deny the fantastic story. After reassuring the family, they left.
After the police left, I went to bed. I woke up about 3 a.m., and that's when they came back. I still remember their fly little hands on the window.
Ever since this all happened, people been all over here. Been getting in the house and tramping my garden. I just wish they'd go away. Why won't they just leave us alone?
What's the show? What's the like docu-series about the hairless goblins that come up out of the mines? I can't remember what the name of it is.
Some people say that the ensuing barrage of reporters, curiosity seekers, and charlatans drove the family out. We don't know why they left. Only that the one remaining witness, Lyle Coton, moved to the adjoining county and refuses to talk about the incident. One story says that years later, while riding with a neighbor in a pickup, Lyle offhandedly remarked, "Remember that UFO thing? We're nothing to it." Nothing else was ever said about it.
You're a hairless
Perhaps
goblin?
it was a fabrication.
No,
or
it's
mask.
it's not like a, I don't know if it's a real documentary, but at least they make you think it's a real documentary. It's on Amazon Prime, but it's about this like paranormal research team that goes to. It's not a horror movie. It's presented like a documentary through the whole thing, but like there's these hairless goblins that are terrifying these families.
Hysteria. Maybe it really happened. Maybe Lyle just wanted to put an end to
it. Hairless goblins. In bed with a goblin.
We have seen photos in the tabloid press that report to be real, when in fact they are composed of 2 or more photos. The results can be very convincing. For a moment, consider the implications.
Okay, I typed in hairless goblins terrorizing family, and it said the documentary series you're looking for is likely Hellier, Hellier, a paranormal documentary series that follows a team of investigators looking into reports of goblin-like and humanoid creatures emerging from abandoned mine shafts in rural Kentucky. The case draws inspiration from historic events like the 1955 Kelly Hopkinsville encounter, where a Kentucky family famously claimed a farmhouse was besieged by small goblin-like creatures.
Because of today's advanced image processing capabilities, we will never
so there you go, it's
be
connected.
able to believe what we see in a photograph. This is what makes this case so important, and yet it is also a story of exploit.
So did they move away from the idea of them being aliens and just accept, the last broadcast? So they just moved away from the alien theory and just accepted that it was hairless goblins?
And intrigue. On a relatively clear evening on May the 12th,
McPherson Tapes is
Mr.
on
and
here,
Mrs.
I think,
Paul Trent
on YouTube.
captured 2 photographs of an unidentified flying object.
I went out to check the rabbits, and feed the rabbits, and to check the eggs. And when I came back in, I looked up and saw this thing in the sky.
Garden trad.
Paul! Paul, get out here, quick!
Come on, Paul. See, Heathen doesn't have to make any stops. He can go directly there because he's always strapped.
Paul, come on! Hurry!
Mr. Trent took the first photo as the object passed within 500 yards of the house. The second was snapped as it veered west and began to gain altitude. He had to change position as the object passed behind the garage to his left.
And he took the picture of it as it was straight, and then as it tipped. And when it tipped, it had that wind. It just come up like that, and then it tipped, and just, really went. It didn't have no smoke, no motor, just the wind onto it. And I would say,
Everybody really likes those zebra print shorts.
right around the size of a big parachute, maybe a little bit bigger, but right around that size. It went fast. I've never seen anything go so fast in my life as that thing went. Yeah.
Using information gathered from the Trent's testimony, combined with aerial photos taken around that time, this computer animation was created and superimposed against the actual background very near where Mr. Trent stood to take the pictures.
What have you missed? What's his name? Peter James, Marathon, and then now we're learning about the, we just learned about the aliens. They thought it was aliens at the time, but since then they've ruled that it was hairless goblins rising from the abandoned mines of rural Kentucky.
At that time, Mr. Trent feared that he may have exposed some kind of...
Now we're looking at the photographs of Paul somebody.
...government experiment. As a result, he did nothing with the photos.
His niece,
Oh, there he is, Paul Trent.
her husband was in the service, and he showed the pictures to him. And he took them in to the bank guy. The guy's dead now, but was a bank guy. He put them in the window of the bank. And that even caused all commotion
Did you tell him you were a YouTuber?
you ever heard of.
I went down the street one day, sometime in June in 1950, and walked into the First National Bank, and Ralph Wortman, who with his brother owned and operated the First National, got a hold of me and said, Phil, you better find out. He says, one of our customers, Paul Trent, who lives out towards on the Sheridan Highway, has some pictures of unidentified flying objects that he took. So he said, you better find out and see if you can get a hold of them. And so I came back to the office and talked to Bill Powell, who was our news editor at that time, and said, Bill, go out to the Trents and see what you can find about the pictures.
My publisher came in and says, Bill, we have our two bankers, Paul and...
They really spared no expense tracking down all of the actual people in this case.
Ralph Wortman have seen pictures of what appear to be authentic pictures of flying saucers. And we chase the story down.
When Bill got out there, they couldn't find the negatives, as he told it at that time. And as a consequence, they searched, and they finally found the negatives rolling around on the floor under the Davenport.
Bill Powell
Under the Davenport?
returned to the paper with the story and the negatives.
I did my own darkroom work, in addition to punching out the news stories. And I projected the things on the wall to make sure that there were no strings holding these objects up.
Unable to find anything wrong with the photos, they decided to run the story.
Bill brought the negatives back in. We made pictures and had big zinc plates made of them and published them on the front page of the newspaper the 8th of June in 1950. And from that time on, we created a windstorm about what was going on these UFOs.
By June the 11th, the story was run in the Portland Oregonian and the Los Angeles Examiner.
Yeah, there you go. That's quite a bit of space there as well. Sleeping child chokes to death. Visit scheduled by 400 Shriners. Hope they don't get that Airbnb down the street from the heathen. State raises clam limit. What? State raises clam? Can you imagine limiting clam? That's just evil.
They took pictures of it, of ours, and put it in the news register. And then all kinds of people wrote into them to get that news register, that front page especially.
Nationally known radio commentator Frank Edwards was fascinated with the story.
He asked me if he could tell people they could send us a dime and get a copy of the...
I like these UFO interviews with like the old no-nonsense people. I just think it's an interesting combination. I've got an interview I would love to show you, but the only place I have it is on a Blu-ray. I can't find it on like Daily Motion or YouTube or whatever. But I'll eventually figure out how to get it ported over. But it's fantastic.
Telephone register, which is what was the name of the newspaper at that time. And I said, sure.
In this correspondence to Frank Edwards, the register reported the mail requests for the front page totaled 2,150. By August the 13th, the total had risen to 7,103, and the requests continued to come in.
The people sent dimes and dollars, and we had the whole room, boxes filled, and my brother and sister-in-law and my wife and I spent days and evenings opening letters and mailing out copies of the front page.
He broadcast the story nationally, promoting copies of the photos. He also claimed to have personally taken 2 enlargements to the Pentagon in person. I was told they were the best civilian photographs of an unidentified flying object that the Air Force has ever seen, he said.
Now, as nearly as I can recall, there were some government agencies in there. At first I thought it was FBI, but as I recall it now, I think it was more likely an intelligence branch of the Air Force.
Well, he wasn't in the Air Force. He said he worked for the Air Force. He's come out here from Arizona 4 different times.
Paul's back.
Went over the coast and be here.
Official government involvement remained unclear. Some refer to the inquiries by the Air Force Office of Special Investigations. But Mrs. Trent specifically remembers the FBI.
They came to the house and this.
Yeah, they look like regular old dudes.
Guy said he was an FBI guy. He had that billfold with the FBI thing onto it.
Uh-oh, is this a man in black?
It looked real. But he just come into the house. He says, "Can I come in?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "I told him I haven't got nothing to hide." And he says, "Do you have any other photos of it?" I says, "No." And then when he said, "Can I look?" And I said, "Look for what?" And he says, "I just want to search."
Yeah, they're not like sensationalizing it. They're just letting these people tell their story. They're not trying to counteract any of it or fact check it, but they're also not like sweeping for it. Or trying to make it like seem spicier than it is. True. Mac and cheese. Wow, going through her panty drawer? Really? Going through a trad's panty drawer? Rude.
And so he just started in, dumped the stuff out of the dresser drawers onto the bed, went all through it, didn't find anything, done the same way with the chest of drawers. Come back into the kitchen and started asking questions and going through the cupboards in the kitchen, but he didn't find anything.
This guy's very thorough.
But he didn't put nothing back either. I had to put everything back that was in the dressers and in the chest of drawers, which was a job to do. Clothes was all there was into it. Nothing else but clothes. But still yet they had to be put back away.
Doing everything to prove that it wasn't.
Yeah, they was doing everything to try to prove that the pictures weren't real. He took a hubcap that was out there and tossed it up in the air and took a picture. But whether he got any picture on it or not, I don't know.
There's always been a denial that the government had anything to do with trying to get in, find out information about it.
This letter, received in response to a Freedom of Information request, denies any knowledge of an FBI investigation into the matter.
I think it was a secret thing and it just happened to get out. But that Air Force guy over there, he just about come out and said it, but not just exactly. The worst part of it was the FBI guy coming and taking and going through all your stuff. And it wouldn't be just one time, it would be several times. They just come and want to take pictures out in your yard and everything, just bother you.
The Trents were
Wait,
flown
are
back.
these... Do you think she's being tormented by sick, evil freaks? Are they censoring, isolating, and terrorizing Paul and his wife?
To New York City by the producers of We the People television show for a special appearance. And they were instructed to bring the negatives.
I actually read a not Facebook post, but a YouTube community post from somebody who perceives themselves as being like a targeted, quote unquote targeted individual, and they said someone burst into their apartment and was looking through the cabinets and then left.
We went back to New York on We the People television, and they tried to get us to say all different things, which wasn't so, but we wouldn't do it. If we couldn't tell it the way it was, exactly we weren't going to do it. Well, when they found out that we weren't going to do it, then they said, okay, we'll do it. Do it just the way you said it. So that's what we did. And they kept our negatives. We never did see them.
They kept the negatives?
Typically, UFO hoaxes are accompanied by an effort to profit from the attention. This opportunity never seems to have occurred to the Trents, although apparently the value of the negatives did not escape the notice of others.
And we had a great deal of difficulty finding the negatives. We couldn't find out who had them. UPI at that time said they didn't have them, and they appeared in Life magazine in August, and then they were reprinted all over in publications.
I was trying to find the post, but I can't
on
find
UFOs all over the country.
Why were the producers of We the People so adamant about bringing the negatives to New York when they used photos for the show? In 1968, Edward Condon was in charge of the official U.S. government project to examine the growing body of UFO evidence.
I follow somebody on YouTube that's really posts some wild stuff, but I don't want to cover it because they're very, like, you know, they would believe that my coverage was part of some kind of
It was then that the Trent case resurfaced.
The negatives apparently turned up in the files of the INS, International News Service.
The Trents were re-questioned, geological maps studied, and the conveniently rediscovered negatives were given a complete scientific examination. Independent computer-aided analysis carried out by GSW and the Jet Propulsion Laboratory failed to find any evidence of wires or any supporting structures attached to the object. Their conclusion, the negatives have not been
Well, the problem with
tampered
all the gang stalking and targeted individual stuff is that it makes it difficult for people who really are being censored, isolated, and terrorized, like Jimmy, to get the attention they need, because you have all these people that are trying to destiny swap and, you know, gaslight.
1969.
Replace their food and drinks with poison.
And after the release of the Condon Report, William Hartman, case analyst for the study, gave this conclusion. An extraordinary flying object flew within sight of the witnesses. This was a bold statement, considering the majority of findings of the Condon Report. Still, detractors were adamant about proving the Trent photos. Still, detractors were adamant about proving the Trent photos were somehow fake. During this time, Philip J. Klass, a specialist at debunking UFO reports, examined the photos. He raised a number of questions. The most serious charge was the claim that the shadows from the eaves on the side of the building were inconsistent with the time of the day the Trents reported taking the photos. His contention was that the photos were actually taken in the morning. Dr. Bruce Maccabee, a renowned research physicist working for the Naval Surface Weapons Center, conducted his own intensive investigations. In 1981, he published his findings, including an in-depth analysis supporting the view that, from the analysis of the brightness scale and exposure level of the unidentified object photos, I have concluded that the photos were not taken in the morning. Dr. Maccabee also ruled out any optical fabrication, and after countless interviews stated that he did not find the Trents likely candidates for perpetrating a hoax. Overall, Dr. Maccabee concluded that the original results of the 1967 study held, stating, the simplest and most direct interpretation is that the photos correlate with the witness's testimony.
And
okay, but is that really any kind of an endorsement? It's just saying the easiest and most direct, and in this case direct just means we're going to take the information we're given and assume that it's true, right? So this is like not even anything that has any value at all as far as the reliability of the image. the simplest and most direct interpretation.
Photos correlate with the witnesses'
Might as well say like the dumbest way to think about this is blank.
testimony.
And finally, in 1971, they were returned to us by United Press International, and we got them back to the Trents at that time.
Beside local news stories, the photos appeared in Life magazine, as well as countless other publications, including books, television, and today, the internet, all without anyone ever obtaining permission or releases from the Trents.
In those days, you didn't think anything about it. It was I'm sure that we didn't get any signed releases from them. We didn't benefit in any way on it, and it may have been that after the negatives went back to the press service and they were in the hands of the press service for some 20 years, they may have reaped some benefit out of them. But they weren't ever purchased, and nobody ever went to.
Yeah, it's a very deliberately paced, very low key, trying to focus on as far as within the confines of the subject matter, the facts of the cases. I like that we get to hear from the people that were actually involved in the cases. That one reenactment was keynote 2 with that weird, like, so-called white alien.
The way we handled it, nobody ever went to the Trents and asked them for a release.
I miss Bethadone. She
Everybody
left
was
already.
writing me wanting pictures, so there was nothing I could do.
She
All I
abandoned me
would
just
do
like
was
George.
right back into it to get care of the news register and get a front page copy of it. It was all I could do, and that's what I would do.
Today, the Trent's financial situation is not good. Mr. Trent has been plagued with physical problems, including a stroke in 1994, which left it difficult for him to talk. It is clear that the revenues from the photos may have made a difference in the lives of the Trents.
Where the negatives are right now, I do not know.
Once again, the negatives are missing. This letter confirms that UPI had the photos and returned them to Phil Bladine at the telephone register. Mr. Bladine said he returned them to the Trents, and the Trents claim they haven't seen the negatives since they turned them over to the producers of We the People in 1950. In fact, what we know is that UPI had the negatives for more than a decade. Today, UPI's entire photo collection is part of the Bettman Photo Archives, a recent acquisition of Bill Gates.
Oh.
Could it be that some forward-thinking
Wow, Bill Gates. He's got the negatives.
Individual realizing the importance? A recent acquisition of Bill Gates.
A recent acquisition.
UPI's entire photo collection is part of the Bettman Photo Archives, a recent acquisition of Bill Gates. Could it be that some forward-thinking individual, realizing the importance of these negatives, has abducted them, keeping them in a safe place for future generations? Perhaps they really did reveal something that someone felt was better left unknown. Or maybe they are truly lost, again, rolling around under someone's sofa. We may never know.
There was nothing that I could hide, because there wasn't nothing to hide in the first place. All it was the pictures.
Paul, come on! Hurry up!
And they were not people that we thought that would come up with a fictitious scam. And they had made no effort to have them published. It was the only reason they were published is because we went out with Mr. Powell.
I didn't see the confrontation. I'm working my way through the content from the 18th right now. How you doing, Doug? What'd they call the sofa again? A Davenport?
And as a result of Mr.
Yeah, she's like a homestead trad.
When we went out and got the negatives,
But she let that guy come into the house and root all through her husband's shit and through her panty drawer, so...
Come in and had the plates made of them.
That's a paddling.
And the thing that's interesting is that the Trent photos are basically about the best photos that still have ever been published about UFOs.
I definitely feel that this was as authentic as you could get.
And I took the pictures of it was, the thing I did, we'd had too much trouble. Everybody coming in, questioning us.
But like I said, I would never take another picture at all. Never. Just too much publicity.
Well, there are two parts to this story, actually. One is what I consciously remember, and one is what I didn't learn until I went under hypnosis in 1980. The first part that I consciously remember.
I've liked the kind of the Lalo and Vegas solo content up to where I am right now.
I was riding in a car with three men. One was my husband in the front seat, and the driver who owned the car, and a young Army corporal in the back seat. We were driving straight through from Bremerton, Washington, and my husband and I were going to get...
She swore off cameras for life.
...off in Phoenix at my sister's house for Christmas. This was December 1940, and it was the night of the 22nd, close to midnight. Of course, we were tired. We'd been driving straight through. And we saw this
want the publicity.
Red glow come up over the, sort of over the valley, I guess you'd call it. Somewhere between Indio and Blythe. Actually, it was between Desert Center and Blythe, to be more exact. And at first we thought it was a little forest fire because we'd seen several. It'd been raining and thunder and lightning very hard.
I mean, really, compared to modern editing and audio mixing, this is like the vast majority of this stuff is just kind of like unintentional ASMR.
And it started little blazes, and then the rain would put them out. So we said, oh, it's another forest fire. Well, the glow kept growing and went up the sides of the mountains on either side of the valley, and we knew that couldn't be a forest fire. It was too even. It was too deep a red and too even. And then this object rose over the horizon. And it took another 40 years before I learned what that was all about. It started when I started playing with a pendulum, and I made a circle with letters around it, like an alphabet, so that the pendulum could answer my questions, something like a Ouija board along the same order. But as I played with that more and more and more, it became an absolute compulsion. I couldn't leave it alone. Night and day I was playing with that darn thing.
Victim of Ouija board addiction.
And as it went on, I began to...
She had surrendered all of her Ouija boards, but then she was out taking a walk and found a Ouija board just laying on the sidewalk.
Hear the words in my mind before it spelled out the message. And that was the way that the telepathy came into my mind.
In 1989, Ida happened upon Beyond Reality magazine. There she read with fascination a description of the works of Dr. Leo Sprinkle. Through hypnosis, he has found a number of people who claim to have been contacted by aliens, and the symptoms they described were identical to what Ida had gone through for years.
I think if Leo hadn't shown up right at that time, I would have been completely bats, because it got to the point I just couldn't take it. And he saved my sanity, if not my life. I'm very grateful to him, and he's done this for many people, not just me. What I remember, even under hypnosis, is very spotty, very sketchy. I don't remember everything. I was playing across the street from our house under a lilac bush, and I heard somebody coming. You could hear the swish in the grass of their footsteps.
Uh-oh, Men in Black.
It was two men. I had
it's the Blues Brothers from Primetime.
Very poor eyesight, and I did not wear my glasses out that day to play, so I couldn't see the men too well. Except one was a larger man and older, and the other was a younger, slender man.
Slender
he
Man.
asked me, where's your man, an older, and the other was a younger, slender man. And he asked me where a certain man lived in the neighborhood. And I said, right there, that house. It was just right next to us, practically. He says, this house?
Does everyone in this neighborhood wear a fedora?
Right here. I said, yeah, right there. So he turned and said something to the younger man, and they conversed a little while, and then he turned back to me. He didn't mention the man they'd asked for again at all. I just sort of forgot him. He began to ask me questions about myself. What was my name, and where did I live? What was my father's name? What kind of work did he do? And where did I go to school? And did I like school? And the usual questions that a stranger would ask a child.
What a creep.
And then they went and got in their
Typical questions a stranger would ask a child.
car and drove away. Well, about that time, my mother came bustling out of the front door, which she never used. We always used the back doors in those days. But she came out of the front door, and she had her little camera. She says, I just have one
Front yard trad.
film left. I want to take the pictures so I can send them to be finished. And then she asked rather casually. When mother was casual, there was a purpose to it. She says, who were those men talking to you? What did they want? And I told her what I knew they had said, and so on, just asked questions.
God, this music.
She says, well, they didn't go to Mr. Barton's house. They drove away. Why didn't they go to his house? Well, I didn't know. And after that, she was very nervous. If I got home late from school, she would be out by the front walk, watching down the walk, making sure that I was coming home all right. And my older sister told me later that Mother was very, very nervous about that incident. She felt there was something wrong about the men, and wondered why they had not gone to Mr. Barton's house after asking for him and had driven away.
Her memory of the strange events on the night of December the 22nd, 1940, also came into sharper focus.
During the time when I thought I was asleep, I had heard some crunching of the footsteps in the gravel. The back door opened, and a blast of cold air hit me. And I thought, oh, good, the men are coming back. And then I thought I went to sleep again. And after a while, I again heard footsteps, and the back door opened. And so I sat up and looked, and it wasn't the men at all. It was two strange men. My men were still down in the headlights of the car talking. And the two strange men said, there's been an accident. We need help. Can you come and help us? So we walked down the road a ways, and we came to this round object. I thought it was a cabin.
All right, see you tomorrow for Memphis Wrestling, ATF.
I heard something about Quonset huts. They were making them to send to Alaska as barracks. And I thought, well, maybe it's a Quonset hut or some kind of a round cabin. But what's it doing way out here in the wilderness, so far away from everything? The door was open and the light was streaming out of the door, and they took me up and they said, step up, there's a high step here. Well, I tried to step up with my left foot, and I happened to be right-footed. I just have balance if I step up with my right foot first. So I couldn't make it with my left foot, and I stepped up with my right, and someone leaned down, and he grabbed a hold of my wrist in what my dad would call a lumberjack's grip, like that. And he just yanked me up into the cabin. The other two men had not touched me. They showed me a man who was lying there, a rather short man, and who was bleeding rather profusely from his shoulder. And then they took me over.
A rather short man, Lalo.
Kind of a table that let down from the wall. And they apparently took blood from my left arm. And then they began to talk and persuaded me that they wanted to contact me again, that they wanted a conversation with me or communication with me in the future.
How many choices Ida had with regards to continued contact with her alien visitors is hard to say. For the last decade, Ida has been called upon to channel one of the visitors, an alien who identifies himself as Weish. Ida was able to allow us to talk with Weish in a special channeling session.
Channeling is a type of hypnosis.
Nancy Wheeler, channeling trad.
As far as I know from my own research, you have to be in some state of relaxation.
She's got it. Whatever it is, she's got it.
Where the conscious mind is put aside. and the unconscious mind is allowed to become dominant. In that energy
dominant.
that's created, other entities, other persons, other energies come into that person. It's been documented from the beginning of time. It used to be called mediums. They were the mediums. Sometimes people saw them as quacks. Sometimes they were actually legitimate. It's hard to say. How do we know? We have no real tests for that in the world.
I was born in Russia. My mother was Russian. I have always referred to my father as a UFO fly-by-night. I do not know his origin exactly, but I have suspected it was the same.
So her mom is a Russian woman and her dad is, by her words, a fly-by-night UFO visitor. So somebody that came by, split the cheeks, and then hit the road.
As
An
the
alien.
persons on the space stations, I have always called him a time traveler from Atlantis. When I was about 7, my mother died. There was no one left to protect me from relatives who did not approve of my existence. People came in the UFOs and took me to another planet in the Sirius system. I lived there for over 100 years.
What?
One of the things I'm looking for in her is what her eyes are doing, as we mentioned before, and they are fluttering, which could be a sign of hypnosis. I don't see her eyeballs roll up into her eyes, which is sometimes a very deep state of hypnosis. Some people do that, some
Wow,
don't.
very early A-logging.
It's hard to tell with her. I can't see the whites of her eyes. That's one thing I'd be looking for. I'd ask people that I work with privately to open their eyes and then shut them and look for that redness in the whites of their eyes. That's a sign of hypnosis. Also tearing and spontaneous tearing sometimes occur
South to West trying to be nice about it. I think she's kind of faking.
in people who are in a deep state of hypnosis, and I don't see any of that, although at the end of the session, when she does open her eyes, she wipes them off, and it looks like there's quite a bit of a tearing in her eyes, and she feels like she was in a deeper state that time than usual states. So it's really, a lot of it is up to what the person tells you. It's their belief system you're working with.
One would hope that if Weiss was truly a traveler from another world, we would gain astonishing knowledge from the far corners of the universe. But, as is so often the case, this opportunity for celestial insight left something to be desired.
I've got some red in my eyes.
Accept the idea.
I am. I'm hypnotized by the boy.
That UFOs and their occupants, the aliens,
Kino,
are real. They exist. They are here to interact and to help the people of the earth.
What is she? Did she say that she lived somewhere for 100 years?
Perhaps even more than that. They are here to ask for help for themselves, for they need your help as much as they are able to give some of theirs.
But I would say she's in a light state of hypnosis, that she is able to put her conscious mind aside through her visualizations, and that if something is coming in, it's either from her imagination or it could be real. And I'm not the expert here, she is. So I'd say that she's doing something with her energy, whether it's imagination or whether she actually is bringing in this entity. Only time will tell.
Our longing for contact with life from beyond is deep and persistent. As we take our first steps into the vastness of deep space, the idea that we may not be alone can be sobering, especially for a species as self-absorbed as we. Just as an infant must learn the painful truth that they are not the center of the universe, we may all have to learn to share the spotlight with other players from other worlds. In
in this fantastic drama of space and time. Our greatest challenge may be to overcome our natural resistance to new ideas as they unfold. We must prepare, because somewhere between here and there, the truth is waiting.
Wow. Copyright 1996, Terry Halstead. Wow. All right. Well, I'm going to go. Thank you for hanging out to watch some UFO content with me. Sorry, the first show I hadn't seen it. I didn't pre-screen it, but it looks like that one's probably not one we'll revisit since we'll be able to see those segments through like the other shows and stuff. But I will be back in the morning for Memphis wrestling. I'll probably do an afternoon show tomorrow, but I'm not sure. But in any case, thanks for watching this one. I appreciate it. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon.